And as we commence this afternoon session, I now invite Shri Chawla Babu Rauji, Vice Chairman and MD, AP Oilfed, to brief his views and proposed action plan for the next 5 years. Sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon to everybody. Respected Sri Sanjay Agarwal, Secretary, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India, and Ms. Shubha Thakur, Joint Secretary, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India, and my fellow oil palm processors on the dais, other dignitaries, various participants from different states, and farmers. At the outset, I thank the Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare for organizing this important oil farm business summit, and I am also really thankful for giving me this opportunity to express the views of the AP Oilfed, the first oil palm processing unit in the country. India's first oil palm processing unit with 1 metric ton per hour capacity was established by Andhra Pradesh Cooperative Oil Seeds Growers Federation Limited at Pedavegi, West Godavari district as a pilot project in the year 1992. Later it was expanded to meet the processing requirements, and subsequently a new unit was established in the year 2010 with a capacity of 24 metric ton per hour. The success of this pilot project paved way for bringing vast areas under the oil palm cultivation in Andhra Pradesh. Next, the potential area under oil palm in the Andhra Pradesh is about 5,31,379 hectares. As of now, nearly 2 lakh hectares of this potential area is cultivated. The oil palm area coverage is increasing on a faster pace due to surge in the prices of fresh fruit bunches during the last 1.5 years. The FFB prices have doubled from 9,340 rupees per metric ton in July 2020 to 18,942 rupees per metric ton in May 2021. This has created a strong interest on the part of the farming community to cultivate oil palm. Next, the policies of Government of India and state governments have to be directed to sustain CPO prices at the existing level of rupees 1,08,000 to 1,11,000 per metric ton to stabilize the FFB prices at around 17,000 per metric ton. This will create a strong platform for the prospective farmers to go in for the cultivation of oil palm in a big way. In a short period of 3 to 5 years, lakhs of acres can be brought under oil palm cultivation, and many of the farmers have benefited recently because of the launching of National Mission on Edible Oils and Oil Palm by Government of India. The next, the oil palm extraction ratio, that is OER, is very vital in the long-term survival of the oil palm industry. As of now, there is no transparency in OERs reported by the oil palm companies. A third-party qualified team shall have to be put in place in each of the major oil palm cultivating states for periodical review of OER issue at field level and at processing plant level to ensure transparency in the issue and to take appropriate remedial measures accordingly for the benefit of the farmers and processors. Next. The poaching menace of FFB with open encouragement by some oil farm companies is taking place through private money lenders, traders, and some big farmers by diverting FFB to outside the zone processing plants for some additional financial benefit. That is offered by these oil palm companies. This is a very dangerous development and must be controlled with heavy hand by both central and state governments, keeping in view the long-term interests of oil palm industry in various states. Once poaching is prevented, and if uniform FFB grading standards are followed by oil palm companies, the problem of immature FFB harvesting can be controlled. Next. The oil palm processing units have many byproducts like palm nuts, decanter muck, palm empty bunches, palm nut shell, palm fiber, palm shredded fiber, ETP sludge, etc. The Government of India should disseminate suitable technological know-how with proper funding for efficient use of these byproducts. It will ultimately lead to financial stability of oil palm industry in the long run. It will also enable oil farm companies to overcome environmental hazards these byproducts are creating in the factory zones. Next. The oil palm nursery plays a key role in the area of expansion process. The short supply in the imported seeds shall have to be augmented by indigenous seed gardens under the control of the seed developments by sourcing good quality seed locally or from the other countries. Periodical review of planting material cost is very essential for good quality seed production. Next. There is a large potential area that can be brought under oil palm in Andhra Pradesh. The small holdings of land are hindering the farmers to provide irrigation facilities and take up oil palm cultivation, particularly in East Godavari district. The farmers who hitherto cultivated paddy are interested in shifting to oil palm crop in the light of good returns. The Government of India and the state governments should incentivize these farmers and encourage them to go for oil palm. The small farmers, the SC/ST farmers should be extended 90 to 100% subsidy for plant material and drip irrigation, while other economically backward farmers should also be given 80% subsidy to bring large area under oil palm cultivation. This will not only reduce the surplus paddy production, but also increase edible oil production, which is the need of the hour. Next. Treatment of effluents generated in the oil palm industry is a big challenge. The state pollution control boards have identified the palm oil mill effluents as red category and stringent rules are imposed. The standards set by the boards have to be complied, necessitating huge investments on ETPs, and this cost is almost equal to processing facility cost. Therefore, the Government of India has to liberally arrange required funds for establishment of ETPs, especially at the public sector undertakings like AP Oilfed. Next. AP Oilfed is a state-level PSU and striving for the development of oil palm with a main motive to benefit the farmers cultivating oil palm. Though its processing unit receives low-quality FFB due to old gardens in its area and also nearing obsolete, the farmers are being paid price of FFB on par with Telangana state, which has younger gardens with the new processing units. AP Oilfed is working on very minimal margins, which are not sufficient to meet the new plant investment requirements. Hence, the Government of India may liberally sanction funds as grants to establish a new processing unit to meet the AP oil fed zone's requirement for the next 10 years. Next. Financial assistance shall have to be increased in the following areas. Assistance for intercropping should be enhanced from the present 15,000 to 20,000 per hectare. Assistance to uprooting of old palm plants should be increased from rupees 250 rupees to 350 rupees. There should be subsidy for FFB transportation from faraway fields to the oil palm processing units, and enhancement of drip irrigation subsidy from the present level to rupees 47,000 rupees per hectare. Next. The present oil palm processing unit was established in the year 2010, and in another 2 years it may become obsolete. Hence it is proposed to take up the establishing of a new processing facility by 2023-24 with a capacity of 40 to 60 metric ton per hour capacity, keeping in view of the present fast phase of oil palm area expansion. The AP oil fed was allotted with 5 mandals in 2 districts. Considering the area expansion that is expected in these mandals, an area of 7,500 hectares is self-assessed target for area expansion during the next 5 years. This area expansion will be 9.5 lakhs of seedlings will be needed. The same will be planted by timely import of oil palm sprouts. Oil palm is the best answer for achieving self-sufficiency in edible oils. The farmers are very much interested in taking up oil palm cultivation. The oil palm crop or industry have a very bright prospects and also wide range of challenges to face. The Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Indian Institute of Oil Palm Research, the state horticultural departments, agricultural universities, oil palm companies, oil palm farmers associations, and oil palm progressive farmers are all involved in the growth of oil palm in India. To achieve Atmanirbhar Bharat in edible oils and for sustained development of oil palm, an autonomous oil palm board is very much essential for close coordination with all the above departments or bodies for achieving targeted growth in the expansion of area, production and productivity through research and development, dissemination of the research findings, technology upgradation and modernization, efficient use of oil palm byproducts, and to iron out the above foreseen challenges faced by the oil palm sector. Since Andhra Pradesh is the #1 state in oil palm cultivation, it will be the right place to set up the autonomous oil palm board as like existing boards for coffee, tea, rubber, tobacco and spices. Thank you for hearing me patiently. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. In view of the time constraint, request our esteemed speakers to make it as brief as possible, since we have covered a host of topics since the morning, and this I'm conveying just on behalf of the organizers. I now invite Shri M. Surendraji, MD, TS Oilfed, Hyderabad, to brief his views and proposed plan of action in the next 5 years.
Good afternoon, everybody. Oilfed, being established in 1980, focus on groundnut and sunflower, later on shifted to oil palm, which has come to be the mainstay since 1986. And we have been continuing our journey with oil palm since then. Till date, there's an area of 55,000 acres, and we stand 6th in the country in terms of area expansion. And with respect to marketing, Oilfed is selling its oils in the brand name of Vijaya, which is a very popular brand in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Next. Uh, the factories of TS Oilfed have been functioning very efficiently, and because of the awareness created to farmers in the field about harvesting at the correct time, and also proper management practices have helped us increase our OER year on year. And this year we have achieved an all-time high of 19.22%, which has become very beneficial for the farmers. Next. Regarding the action plan, Telangana state plans to cover around 30 lakh acres over the next 5 years, and in the next 3 years it is proposed to cover 20 lakh acres with 5 lakh acres in the coming year, 5 lakh acres in 23-24 and 10 lakh acres in 24-25. If this entire 5 lakh acres as planned takes off, we would be requiring something like 50 new mills to be set up in the year 26-27 and 27-28. Out of these 32 rural districts, nearly 27 districts have been allotted to 11 companies in the state. There are many strengths which the state has to take up oil palm plantations, being the proactive government policies, interested farmers, good groundwater resources, electricity, and most of all, good sized land holdings by individual farmers, fertile soils, then good nursery infrastructure, and demand for oil palm. And moreover, because of the 30 years experience, we are well placed to encourage farmers to take up oil palm plantations. Next. To meet our target of 5 lakh acres with the encouragement of the government, all the 11 companies have set up nearly 29 nurseries with a combined capacity of 150 lakh saplings, with the Oilfed having 13 nurseries with a capacity of 80 lakh saplings in a year. This is one of our factory at Apropate. Next is another factory at Ashropate. Both these factories have got a combined capacity of 90 tons per hour. Next. These are the FAB prices from 2014 to 2021. As you can see, June 21 was the highest, was a month with the highest price of 19,114, which is an all-time high. Next. This is a flow chart of the processing along with the byproducts. Next. Yeah, I've taken 15,000 per MT rate for the FFB because we hope that the CPO price may not go down below 90,000, and hence the FFB price may hover something around 15,000. Based on that price, you can see the profit the farmer makes starting from 10,000 in the first year to 1,75,000 starting from the 15th year. That includes the profit made on the intercrops also. These figures give an idea about the consumption of palm oil in oil, and you can see South India has got almost 60% consumption among all the edible oils, which bodes well for the oil palm companies, the prospects being bright. Next. Regarding the scheme NMO OP, I would like to raise a few issues. Since the state is taking up plantations on a huge scale, and there would be a requirement of setting up large number of oil palm mills, I request the government of India to also include the rest of India for assistance for oil mills. The scheme states that 5 crores is allocated as assistance for a 5 ton per hour mill, and it can be increased on a pro rata basis. So I request the same scheme may be extended to rest of India. The second thing is there's a condition of a 19% OER being set for the mills from the first year itself, which may be very difficult for mills in new areas having young gardens, because our experience in the industry shows that the initial OERs will be ranging from 15 to 18% for the first 3-4 years, and paying at 19% would be a difficult task for industries. And if this is has to be adhered to, I think the industries will bound to become sick from the very inception itself. Hence my suggestion would be to be whatever is the difference between the actual OER for the new mills in the new areas, and the 19% should be borne by the government. The import policies of palmolene and CPO have been affecting industries. We have seen in the last 1 month, there has been a decrease in the duties over palmolene oil. Then there has been a ban on future tradings. And now we hear there's a move to also reduce duties on CPO. So these policies cause a lot of fluctuations in CPO price and hence affect the industries. The department may take up the issue with the Department of Commerce to protect the domestic industry. And setting up mills with produced CPO only will not be sufficient because the end product which goes for consumption is palmolene oil. Hence, the government may also consider assistance for refineries. Otherwise, this oil which is produced, all the companies will be just producing the CPO and will have no sufficient refineries to refine this oil. Hence, the government may consider giving assistance for refineries also. One problem which we foresee is availability of trained manpower because setting up a large number of mills requires skilled manpower also. So we have to take up a program for training young youth to be employed in these industries. Another issue is regarding the planting material cost. We would request the planting material to be sent directly to the company's account itself once the planting material is given to the farmer. And furthermore, asking the companies to transport the planting material to the farmer's field would be a very difficult task. Hence, the responsibility of taking the plants from the nursery and transporting the fields may be left to the farmer himself or herself. So that is a consideration which I request of the government. And a target of just 20,000 hectares is given for Telangana for 22-23. We request that to be increased to around 2 lakh hectares to be in tune with our action plan, as we already set up the nurseries on a large scale and for the plantation material to be distributed. An important aspect of oil palm plantation along with the sprouts is the drip irrigation system. Both are crucial. So we are able to overcome this sprouts problem by contacting various companies abroad. However, drip is still proving to be a bottleneck in expansion rapidly. So we request the government to increase the unit cost for drip suitably and also make this drip a component of NMEO itself instead of drawing funds from PMKSY, which will be difficult. If the subsidy for drip is made a part of NMEO itself, the entire package can be given to the farmer in one go. There is a scheme for Northeast where farmers are given assistance for fencing. We also face a problem of boars, deers and other animals. So we request that the same assistance be extended to farmers of rest of India also. Regarding allocation of tools and customizing centers, we request that it should be based on demand. And then the management and input cost, which stands at 40,000 in the scheme, appears to be very meager. So we request that it be enhanced to 84,000 per hectare so that farmers are motivated to take up the plantation. VGP has been discussed about in the morning. Though it appears to be a much scientific method, basing the VGP on CPO, which is subject to high fluctuations, I think would not be beneficial. So I request the government to think of a better method where a fixed price is given to the farmer and the difference between the price and the industry price based on the CPO which is to be paid by the industry, the differential can be met by the government. Because the industry may pay based on the CPO price because it buys the bunches and then takes the oil and sells the oil. But government need not always base their VGP on CPO. It can have a much more better method of encouraging farmers to take up the plantation. Next. These are our packing stations. Next. And this is our brand. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Shri Sanjay Goenka-ji, MD, 3F OilPalm Agrotech Private Limited, to brief his views and proposed action plan for the next 5 years.
Dignitaries on and off the dais, my farmer brothers and friends. Palm oil is a commodity, and its price very greatly depends on what happens in Malaysia and Indonesia. The price of palm oil fluctuates probably on a day-to-day basis. And as a result of which, it has always been very imperative to have some kind of a pricing mechanism which safeguards and insulate the farmers from this everyday price fluctuation. We as a company have been into this business of oil palm right from the time when probably the first seed sprout was planted in the nursery. And it has been our plea and our request since that time that the government formulates a pricing mechanism which takes care of this necessity of the farmers. Farmers shouldn't be exposed to these price fluctuations. We have been pursuing this with the government, and very greatly and very nicely we were fortunate to have the present government come out with this all-inclusive policy which safeguards the farmers in terms of the price fluctuation to a very in a great extent. Now, essentially what really is going to happen, once the price falls down, this entire pricing mechanism will come into the picture. And once the price goes up, it is the companies which are going to continue to give farmer based on the present day price. As a result of which, the farmers are benefited both ways. When the price goes down, the government intervenes and safeguards the farmer instantly. And when the prices are up, the companies are there to take care of the farmers. So it becomes a win-win situation for all stakeholders involved in this business of oil palm. Now, having said this, there is one aspect which I think all of us need to understand. Presently, for issues that are prevailing in Malaysia and Indonesia, palm oil prices have been ruling high. They have been ruling extremely high, as a result of which farmers are immensely benefited. While it is always a thought, while it is always a prayer that farmers continue to derive benefit, farmers continue to get a very high price, but such high prices are definitely not sustainable, for sure. These prices cannot sustain in the long run. The moment things start stabilizing in Indonesia and Malaysia, prices are going to come down, and this is where this entire VGP, the entire NMOPA policy will come to the benefit of the farmer. So what essentially I'm trying to say is be it the farmers or companies or any stakeholders, shouldn't really get very clamored with high prices, and neither should they get dejected with low prices. It's a commodity, prices will fluctuate, and this policy and the fact that companies going to pay the farmers when the prices are high will safeguard farmers' interest once and for all. I will dwell a bit more on this entire NMU, this policy a bit later in my presentation. I'll just give you a brief about what our company and group companies are into. Now we are into 5 different business activities. A, we extract oil from almost any and every edible oil bearing material, be it rice bran, soya bean, groundnut, so on and so forth, and we make a host of product out of it, be it crude oil, refined oil, bakery shortening, specialty fat, cocoa butter substitutes, fatty acids, so on and so forth. So we have a manufacturing facility in Andhra and we have a manufacturing facility in Africa. The second line of business is renewable energy. We generate power from agro waste, industrial waste, so on and so forth. And again, we have a power plant in Andhra and one in Punjab. The third, we are into ready-made garments and retailing with our factories in Delhi and China. Fourth, we are into defense, and most and very importantly, we are into this business of palm oil. Now, presently, we have our palm operations in about 5 states in India, with a cumulative 30,000 hectares under oil palm, and we have almost about 80 to 100 tons per hour of processing capacity in all these states. Apart from this, we also have our own palm oil refinery. We have our integrated cogen power plant in our factory which generates power out of these in a palm waste. While we provide immense and multiple service to the farmer, there are two aspects which needs a highlight, because we have been using technology to its fullest. We have developed this, multiple apps in-house, and there are two apps called the 3F Smart Plan, and the second is the 3F Akshay. So these are the two apps which we have developed in-house, and through these apps we are providing multiple services to the farmer. So these, at the time of developing these apps, it was also our thought that we are going to train every single farmer how to use this app so that the farmer benefits to the fullest, and we have done that. Each and every farmer of ours have been trained individually, and they are using this app for multiple facilities. Now this slide very briefly tells about our various operations. Now coming specifically once again to this whole policy, as I've already mentioned the importance of this policy in terms of the pricing mechanism, the importance of this policy in terms of various subsidy that it provides to the farmers, which has been spoken a lot by various speakers. I would here like to highlight certain aspects that needs to be kept in mind to ensure success by way of implementation in the policy, and here I would request and urge the kind attention of various state governments and the central governments. Oil palm is one such crop in which there is a necessity of a great teamwork between the companies, the government and the farmers. As a continuation to that, if this policy has to give the desired result, there has to be an absolute synergy between the state and central government, and every single aspect of the policy has to be followed and taken care of. If our understanding of the policy is right, this policy has been made in terms taking into consideration the long-term vision of palm oil, and if any deviation in the policy, any short change in the policy, any pick and choose in the policy will really not give the desired result. So our urge is that the state government and the central government follows this to its fullest. Another important aspect is to ensure quality plantation and maximum area coverage. The selection criteria of the farmer has to be very, very stringent. And here again, there has to be a great synergy between the government and the companies to ensure that the right farmers take up oil palm plantation, because the right farmers will give the right result. And there has been lots spoken about timely transfer of incentive to the farmers, so I'll not dwell on that. The importance of this can never be overemphasized. The other aspect is, while this policy covers all the issues that has been facing the industry so far, our request is this policy continues for the entire duration of 70 years, and more specifically this entire in a pricing policy. And last and not the least is, there has to be total sanctity of the zonalization scheme, or the zonalization aspect of oil palm that is being followed at present. Any deviation again from the zonalization can have detrimental effect and will not give us the required result. I will briefly tell you about the company's investment plans in different states. We are presently operating in Andhra Pradesh with about 20,000 hectares already covered under oil palm. We plan to cover another 20,000 hectares in the next 5 years with an investment of about 100 crores. Karnataka, we presently have about 5,000 hectares. We intend to add another 20,000 hectares in the next 5 years with an investment of 100 crores. Telangana, there's lots spoken about Telangana by the respective government and others. Even we are extremely bullish about it. Even we intend to cover almost about 40,000 hectares in Telangana with an investment of 1,000 crores in the next 5 years. And here, all this will definitely be possible if the government of Telangana joins hands with us, they support us for the cause, then this entire area is achievable. Arunachal, the northeast, is again a state which has tremendous potential. We have a presence in Arunachal right now. We have about 2,000 hectares under oil palm, and we are well on track to start a palm oil factory in Telangana. We have acquired the land, and the factory should start in a commercial production in the next about 9 months or so. Our plan is to again cover 25 to 30,000 hectares in Telangana with a cumulative investment of 500 to 750 crores. Assam is a new state which is going to be added into the list. We are quite bullish about Assam, and we intend to cover 30,000 hectares in Assam with an investment of close to 1,000 crores. Now, while I have spoken about so much of hectares that can be covered with so much of investment, an immediate question that could arise in anybody's mind is this achievable? Is this possible? Well, all I can say is with our track record of being in oil palm for the last 25 years, we feel that with this policy, and as I mentioned, with a very active support of the center and the state government, these are all extremely achievable. Our experience not just comes out of our operations in India. We also have our palm plantation and operations in South America and Africa, where we are developing a complete integrated oil palm project in 40,000 hectares and 60,000 hectares of land each. And lastly, I would once again like to reiterate that the government, the central government, have done their bit in terms of coming out with extremely inclusive policies. Farmers are realizing the importance of this policy. The farmers are realizing the importance of growing oil palm. It is just with a cohesive work between the companies, the farmers, and the state government that we can achieve success and take India very close to Atmanirbhar Bharat and with the dream of our Honorable Prime Minister. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. I now invite Shri Babu Thomas ji, MD, OPIL Kottayam, Kerala, to brief his views and proposed plan of action for the next 5 years.
Respected Secretary, Agriculture, Government of India, Joint Secretary, other dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and friends. OilPalm India Limited is a joint sector, public sector undertaking between the Government of India and the Government of Kerala, established in the state of Kerala. OilPalm India is also the nodal agency for expansion of oil palm cultivation in the state of Kerala. During the last 2 decades, we have been managing 3,600 hectares of our own plantations and another 1,000 hectares by another public sector and another 2,000 hectares by small-scale farmers scattered over the state, 13 districts in the state. We are also managing a processing plant in Koilon district of Kerala, which is on the southern part. As a processor, I will only focus on the challenges that I am facing as a processor in the state of Kerala. As I mentioned, we have 6,500 hectares presently fruiting plants. Out of that, more than 30 years plantation. In 1/3 of my estate has been replanted. So that has affected our production, and maybe we will cope it up in another 3 to 4 years when the plants are mature. And regarding area expansion also, from the present 6,500 hectares, in the new scheme of things, we have to expand another 6,500 hectares in the next 5 years' time. As far as processing capacity is concerned, my plant in Erur in Koilon has a capacity to process 20 metric tons per hour, which means in a year I can process up to 120,000 metric tons. But our major issue is the scattered farmers, especially those in the northern part of the state, are finding it extremely difficult to reach their produce within 24 hours to the factory. And that has been one of the reasons why our area expansion has not happened in the northern part. So the state government and OPIL proposes to put up one more processing plant in the one of the northern districts. That is my preparation towards supporting the proposed 5-year growth plan. And the second issue which my factory is facing is, our factory was established in the year 1999 And during the last 23 years, the factory processing efficiency has come down, and the oil extraction rate has to improve or has to be looked into. So the aging of the plant and machinery has affected the OER, and that is another challenge faced by OPIL as a processor. I think with the given brief time, I should not talk more than this, because my factory is limited to the operations in the state of Kerala, and my limitations are only regarding the processing efficiency and the prohibitive distance for the farmers in the northern part of the state, for which we have a mitigation plan to put up another 5 tons per hour plant in one of the northern districts, which will address the total processing requirement of the state, even after the area gets expanded by another 6,500 tons. Our only request to the Government of India is to support us in putting up a new plant, as was offered to the northeastern states, in putting up a small plant to address this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Shri Niyogi ji, CEO of Godrej Agrovet Limited, East Godavari, Andhra Pradesh, to brief his views and proposed plan of action.
Respected Secretary Sir, respected Joint Secretary Ma'am, all state government officials, all dignitaries in the dais, in the audience, our farmer friends, and whosoever are attending this conference. So I'll be speaking on behalf of our MD, Mr. Balram Singh Jadhav, who is unwell, could not attend this. Already speakers have highlighted, and also Sanjay ji, who had highlighted, who is also the president of association. I'll try to restrict our understanding about this new NMEOP scheme and how it had been so far, and how we are thinking going forward with this scheme, navigating and helping the country to become Atmanirbhar, which is the dream of our Prime Minister. So the equation is, when we see the last 5 years journey, the import is growing at a much faster CAGR than our domestic production. So this is the problem. And I think this is the best time we have addressed this with a new policy. Next, please. So the answer cannot be other than oil palm, because the only crop which can produce in Indian condition close to about 4 tons per hectare is oil palm, and it's merely 7-8 times or 10 times higher than any other alternate crop available in our country. So I think for a long term, only the difference in this chart is that rest all crops farmer can pick and choose seasonally. But oil palm require a 25-year, 30 years of association, and that is something where definitely a state policy, central policy matters, because this is something which actually set the narrative and adoption of this crop, so that finally we get, when we onboard for this crop, we navigate through a period of 25 years in case it is not uprooted. And these concerns, what we have seen in the past, that uprooting has been observed in so many states when the prices are not really good, international prices are not really good, that can be avoided. Next. So this is NMEOP is addressing. According to us, VGP is very important. Probably the understanding of VGP is not felt well now because the prices are very high. But definitely all my seniors have experienced this lower prices, lower CPO prices, where it becomes highly unsustainable for the farmer. And there this particular assistance comes into picture, and this particular assistance is provided till 2036. And that's a long period, 15 years long period, which address the concerns of farmer, grower and processor, because when we collaborate, we join hands, then it basically for a longer tenure of journey, which we feel important. The second important thing is definitely the seed availability is a concern for the growth, the ambition we have. I think all companies are facing the constraint of sourcing seeds. We definitely feel that growing good quality nursery saplings, this is the assistance which is extended now, 29,000 per hectare, is very important. And the last one is definitely that first 4 years of journey, whenever there are this farmer do not start earning, the assistance becomes very important, and timely providing the assistance is even more important, so that he do not lose hope and leave the crop in between. So I gone through the presentation of SBI today, and we actually, SBI and Godrej is working for this kind of product already for mature plantation, but not for the juvenile. What seems to be very interesting for me is that kind of proposal has been put forward, also has been told in Guwahati Summit. This is exactly something we have already been discussing with SBI and in Andhra Pradesh level, and we think it's going to help the new farmer, especially the first generation farmer who are adopting to a great extent. Next, please. So, why we feel that the issues we were having previously has been addressed. So, import for this seedling was a constraint because we were not getting the kind of support required to produce good quality saplings. Perhaps now it is very much viable. The second is this VGP, which we have discussed, but what our request would be to ma'am and sir, that what success we are seeing post 6th meeting in Northeast, at least 3 government we have started talk with MOU, and very soon we'll be closing this. They are very clear now. I think 2 months we achieved this, and things are moving fast in Northeast. South, I think still things are not very clear. Still there are confusions. Post this summit, I expect that things will improve, and that will consolidate our position to go very aggressively in these states also. We are primarily, apart from Andhra Pradesh, we are there in Telangana, Tamil Nadu. Also very much we are present in Odisha, Gujarat. Although those 2 states we are not very clear, but all these 3 states we are very keen to participate in this program once the environment is get a little clear post this summit. Next, please. So we'll just talk about as a Godrej, it is a brand very much known to Indian consumer. 40 crore Indian consumer use this brand every day. So that give a assurance to farmer community that here we are for long. When we join in this program, any state, we do not leave the state. There are examples that other than Andhra also we have 3 other mills in 3 states where we are there for decades together, and still we are hopeful that we are going to survive there, and we are going to make this OilPalm program successful. Next, please. So in Godrej Agrobet, we are into many different sectors of agriculture, and we are connected with farmer. More than 1 crore farmer we are connected in this country with poultry or aqua or general agriculture as well as horticulture as oil palm. So currently, next please. Currently we are having 6 mills. Alone Andhra we have 190 TPH. All these mills are having best of the technology available and it is at par with any Malaysian gold standard mills. We proudly say that. Nurseries, we are expanding capacity very fast with this particular, the ask now, I think central government of India is having, so we are expanding nursery facilities very fast. Now we are having 12 nurseries. Other than Andhra, we have 3 plants and all the plants we are hopeful to survive and consolidate our further stake in those states, and we are extremely hopeful with new ventures in Northeast. Although Mizoram we have already a plant running for 2013 onwards, but we are keen to have expansion in Northeast as well and taking up new states and putting up mills there. Next 5 years we are hopeful for adding 1 lakh hectare. Looking into the constraint of saplings, we are little careful, but as things will improve and multiple states will become on board, so probably we will reconsider our position for our plan for going forward. But what in the previous session, one thing we are also hearing from different corners, media, that the oil palm program, which is government of India going very aggressively, has been questioned, and sustainability, especially destruction of environment, all these aspects are very wrongly highlighted in some of the forum, and Northeast is a target for that. So we are also very keen to do all the sustainability level initiatives, getting certified. As Mehta Sahab told, we are IPOS certified company now. For the sustainability platform, we are going to get ourselves, and I request the entire palm fraternity to join hands, because this is something we have to address together. And for sustainability, we are a company who are typically R&D driven. So what we understand, the problem for oil palm farmer going forward, not only now but going forward, is definitely a service, which harvesting is a big issue and which is affecting quality. We are heavily working on that, service modules. Not only that, to provide a single umbrella solution for an oil palm farmer, wherever he can walk in and get all the support from company owned or company provided facilities. We are also working heavily for developing best quality nurseries and bringing best germplasm to the country. Geospatial based recommendations, so that we bring technology to get prosperity in oil palm, digital intervention together, and finally it's all about R&D, which is going to drive the efficiency. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Shri Mallesham, Business Head of Ruchi Soya Industries Limited, to give a brief presentation on proposed action plan for the next 5 years. So I request you to make it brief, because we are hard pressed for time. Thank you.
Thank you. Respected Secretary, sir, respected Madam General Secretary, and other dignitaries, and distinguished guests, and our farmer friends. The NMOP scheme will immensely benefit the oil palm farmers. Increase capital investment, create employment generation, shall reduce the import dependency and also increase the income of the farmers. Now I would like to take through the brief presentation. Next please. Next please. In brief of our business verticals in edible oil soya, flour and TSP, honey and atta, biscuits, cookies and rusk, then oil palm plantation, noodles and breakfast cereals, polychemicals, nutraceutical and wellness, and renewable energy. We have about 39 strategic manufacturing locations across and pan-India distribution network about 100 sales depots and 5,000 distributors and 4.5 lakhs plus retail outlets and growing year on year. And we do export 36 countries our products. Next please. Pan-India or manufacturing footprints, like we have capacity of 3.72 million metric tons capacity here in 10 locations. Similarly, edible oil refining 3.3 million metric ton capacity in year in 13 locations, and we have soya meal 3.05 metric million in 10 locations. Next please. Our oil palm card, we have a 2.5 decade experience in palm industry, and we're dealing with more than 40,000 farm families, and we covered and maintaining with the license with the farmers of 57,000 hectares around 9 states in 39 districts. We've been established more than 250 collection centers of FFB that we are collecting from the farmers, and we are processing 4.5 metric tons annually and incremental 15 to 20% year on year, and the capacity that we established 9.9 million metric ton capacity in Andhra Pradesh. And entire plantation have been covered in geotag for more transparency, and 100% digital procurement payment has been done to the farmers. Next please. Ruchi is an integrated edible oil player since 1986. It has committed itself to cause Atmanirbhar Bharat in alignment with the government's vision. Ruchi works with 40,000 farmers, as I said earlier. India's edible oil imports is 2/3 of its total demand and 15 million metric tons per annum, posing food security challenge. And forex outflow, oil palm is most space efficient and economical perennial crop. Yield of 4 to 5 times more, as already our other friends said, and edible oil crops producing at least a low cost compared to other edible oils. India has high potential, as recent survey made by ICR, IOPR, 2 million hectares, and this is a potential that we can able to cover, make self-sufficiency in edible oil. Next please. Ruchi plans for palm plantation for next 5 years. As we committed, we have proven the track record 2.5 decades that we are given the service to the farmers. Now similar way we want to have a plan with us for Government of India's guidelines and respect to state government guidelines. We want to cover up next to 5 years about 5 lakh hectares, northeast about 3.18 hectares, and rest of India, that is Andhra, Telangana, Karnataka, and wherever the states are coming forward under NMOP, we cover about 1.82 lakh hectares in the next 5 years program. Next please. To cover up 5 lakh hectares in coming next 5 years, the requirement challenges are basically seed sprouts. The seed is not available based on our demand and supply, but over a period of time, yes, when we had a talk with the supplier, they said it will be produced, but they required sufficient time. So based on which we have made a program that it can be achievable, subjected to kind of program that we need to make it, for which we need to establish around 9,000 hectares land is required for nursery, and the capacity that we need to build about 2,500 metric ton capacity per hour over a period of 10 to 12 years. And our investment goes for next 30 years going to be around 24,000 crore. That investment is to be involved for this particular, to take up the plantation about 5 lakh hectares. Basically, the support that we required to the industry, that price fixation committee should meet timely so that the farmers should not get delayed of their payment, so that it should be done within timely. The second,
थोड़ा बीच में मैं आपको रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ कि जो टॉपिक है उससे रिलेटेड थोड़ा सा, चूंकि हम लोग काफी लेट चल रहे हैं,
no, I'm closing.
तो जस्ट conclude the only issues.
Sure. The second point is we required the financial assistance that we said to be released in timely, which was had a different experience earlier, so that we request the government to support us. And similarly for the collaboration with the state and central government for area allocation, that to be given to us. And the last and final, the seed garden is need to now need time to set up, as our program is high, we are not able to get imported seed material to that extent. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And finally, I invite on behalf of the Telangana Oil Palm Processors Association, Mr. Gautam Reddy from Suven Agro to please give his brief points on the next action plan.
Respected Secretary, sir, Secretary, Government of India, APC Telangana Raghunandan sir, Director Horticulture Telangana Venkatram Reddy garu, all the Shubha Thakur ma'am, Joint Secretary OilPalm, all the dignitaries on and off dais. I represent the youngest state of India, Telangana. Telangana is not known for its farmer-friendly agriculture practices. As a result, the agriculture produce of Telangana has grown multifold. It has almost doubled in the last 7 years. Known for its farmer-friendly agriculture practices, we also don't want to miss out on oil palm. So I have just 2 submissions to make on behalf of Telangana Oil Processors Association. Sir, for the year 22-23, we have been given a target of 23,000 hectares. But our state government has given a mandate of close to 2 lakh hectares for the year 22-23. Keeping that in mind, we have already imported sprouts which will be sufficient for almost 1.25 lakh hectares, and all the companies together have invested close to 350 to 400 crores. So our submission is to please revise this target of 23,000 hectares to 2 lakh hectares for the next year, 22-23. Government of India has done an excellent job of laying down about 11,000 crores for the next 5 years. So we are requesting you to give good priority to the government of Telangana, state of Telangana. My second submission is, we are facing severe problems on field in terms of giving drip to the farmers. For example, my district, for the first year, we have been given a target of about 1,000 acres. We have interested farmers for 2,000 acres. And the DDs for the farmers' contribution is already given for 500 acres, but the drip is not given for even 1 acre. This is a fact. So you need to increase the unit cost for the drip to at least 50,000 rupees per acre, per hectare. So these are 2 submissions from the Oil Processors Association of Telangana. Thank you, sir.
पाम ऑयल प्रोसेसर्स के जो व्यूज थे उसको हम लोगों ने सुना है, और उस पर भारत सरकार का जो स्टैंड होगा उसको हम लोग सकारात्मक दृष्टिकोण अपनाएंगे। और जो एरिया जो शो किया गया है वो इंडिकेटिव है, और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के प्रपोजल और बेस्ड ऑन द सीडलिंग अवेलेबिलिटी उसको कंसिडरेशन गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया करेगी। जहां तक ड्रिप इरिगेशन का कॉस्ट नॉर्म है, वो कॉस्ट नॉर्म इज अंडर जस्ट सबमिशन विद द PMKSY कॉस्ट नॉर्म, दैट वी विल आल्सो लुक आफ्टर. सो अब हमने लगभग सभी प्रोसेसर जो मुख्य प्रोसेसर्स हैं उनका व्यूज सुना है. अब हम स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को निमंत्रण देते हैं और उनसे आग्रह करते हैं कि अपना जो है सो स्थान प्रस्तुत करें. तो आई रिक्वेस्ट टू आंध्र प्रदेश, प्लीज. आंध्र प्रदेश, तेलंगाना, छत्तीसगढ़, केरला, कर्नाटका, तमिलनाडु, Odisha and Gujarat. Please, all are invited on the dais. Please come here. And I request to Andhra Pradesh to please place your views. Thank you, sir. So please record it. Goa state also here, please.
Respected Secretary, Agriculture, Government of India, Joint Secretary, ma'am, other dignitaries on the dais, very good evening to all of you. It has been a long session. I would really like to take a very brief time for explaining the status of oil palm in Andhra Pradesh. So at the outset, I am happy to inform the House that in the recently released Good Governance Report by Government of India, Andhra Pradesh agriculture and allied sectors stood first in the country. And agriculture and allied sectors showed a growth of 11.6%, and especially horticulture showed a growth of 12.4% last year. Next slide, please. That's the statistics in nutshell. We already have 1.81 lakh hectares of oil palm in the state of Andhra Pradesh, spread over 8 districts and 230 mandals, we can say tehsils otherwise. So we have 13 processing plants with a capacity of 460 metric tons of FFB per hour. So it's a huge capacity, and many of the processors have upgraded their facilities recently also. So production wise, if we see, area AP is number 1, and production also, almost 15 lakh metric tons FFB is produced last year with an average productivity of almost 20 metric tons per hectare. Here is a farmer sitting in the audience who harvests 16 metric tons of FFB per acre. So this average productivity of oil palm is for the matured plantations, which are 8 years and above. Next slide, please. So in Andhra Pradesh, we have a very established system of government, farmers and processors. All the three stakeholders are bound by act called AP OilPalm Production Regulation of Production Processing Act 1993. So way back in 1993, this act was enacted, and then subsequently rules were framed. So based on the potentiality of the area, notification is given, the processors are given the lands or potential areas for helping the farmers to raise the plantations. So this is an established system and is working very well in the state of Andhra Pradesh. So this, we can say, is the cornerstone for the success of Andhra Pradesh, for the success of oil palm in Andhra Pradesh. Next slide, please. So these are some of the oil palm plantations. We have age ranging from 0 year to 25 plus years, very matured plantations where we have certain difficulties in harvesting the produce. Next slide, please. Andhra Pradesh is also known for growing intercrops because farmers are very progressive farmers. Inside the oil palm plantations, earlier Dr. Mathur was referring many intercrops as suggested by them, like red ginger or cocoa or vegetables, cucurbitaceous vegetables. Many intercrops are being grown so that in the initial years, farmer is benefited by the extra income that comes from the intercrops. Especially floriculture, you can see in previous slide, please. The flower crops like red ginger or heliconia, they give the benefit cost ratio of 3:1. Next slide, please. These are some of the Google pictures. You can see, you can scan through the Google, on which you can find large scale plantations, especially in the coastal and north coastal districts of Andhra Pradesh. It looks like coconut, but it's oil palm plantations which are extensively grown for the past 25 years. Next slide, please. Next. This is in East Godavari district. You can see the fresh plantation as well as matured plantation. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So I was referring to oil palm processing industries. We have very good relations with them, including the earlier speaker, MD AP OilFed, which was established, that was the first factory established in 1995. So 461 metric tons of FFB per hour. That's the cumulative capacity of all the oil mills that are operating in Andhra Pradesh. Next slide, please. Potential areas, various committees have identified the different potential areas for Andhra Pradesh over the years. The recent report, as Shubha Thakur ma'am was telling in the morning, 5.3, now additional 1 lakh hectares has been added by IIOPR. So this is the potential area, roughly we can say 5 lakh hectares is the potential area in Andhra Pradesh. Next slide, please. So as I said, under the Oil Palm Act and rules, we have a memorandum of agreement with the oil palm companies. So area is allotted to them, that is through a transparent procedure. We notify them, and then interested companies, they participate, and then the tehsils or mandals are allotted to them. So far 1.81 lakh hectares that has been achieved by these 12 oil palm companies. In addition to this, we still have the potential area. Next slide, please. So district wise also, this old figure I am showing, 1.8, still we have 3 lakh plus potential area. Next slide, please. So for the next 5 years, the targets were given 1.12 lakh hectares. Of course, it's indicative, it was told. So this year, 21-22, we have already achieved 8,000 plus hectares of plantation in Andhra Pradesh. So we'd be touching 15,000 definitely by the end of March this year. So large scale plantations are going on, enough planting material is there. So planning has been done, And as I speak, the work is going on in the field. So 1.12 lakh hectares over a period of 5 years, slowly we will be increasing the area. And accordingly, for this year, ma'am, we have also submitted the action plan which has been approved. But for the revised action plan that's pending with the government, we will be submitting shortly. Next slide, please. The major factor for area expansion program is nurseries, as earlier speakers have told. So as I said earlier, apart from the department, all the oil palm companies also raise nurseries by importing sprouts. So whenever an application is filed by them, I think within a week, we clear it and send it to Government of India. There is no delay from our side. So immediately it goes, because we know the importance of planting material. And constantly we are striving for good planting material, because once it is planted, it is going to stay in the field for next 25 years or 30 years. We don't know. So unless until, so the companies also know which variety or which material from which country performs better in Andhra Pradesh. By experience, they know. So when they apply, without delay, we process them and send them to Government of India. So with the government also, under the department, we have 2 seed gardens already established. And third one is going to be established with the help of Indian Institute of Oil Palm Research, Pedavegi. So that is also under process, and shortly by next year we would be producing the seedlings. So this year we have already 20 lakh seedlings, 10 lakh seedlings already we have utilized. So with 20, we can raise about 16,000 hectares of oil palm plantations, because previously triangular method of plantation was being followed, and now we are recommending square system 9 by 9, so that intercrops like cocoa, other crops can be grown in the interspaces. So sufficient seedlings are there for the current year to achieve the target, and for the next year also we already have almost 17 lakh seedlings or sprouts. As and when application is made by a processing company, we are processing them, and in addition to that, department is also going to produce the seedlings for area expansion program. Next slide, please. Government of India has already revised the cost norms, as it was told for sprouts, 29,000 for imported material. Very encouraging. Farmers are very happy for increasing the unit cost of all the components of the scheme. So it's a very plus point and beneficial for improving the program in the state. Next slide, please. For area expansion, we have our strengths. Established system, as I said, we have an experience of more than 2.5 decades in raising these plantations and then processing them. We have also the system in place, that is, Act is there and rules are there, Memorandum of Agreement is there. So even a small hiccups have come recently, but within a short time, we have settled them, and then like cross purchase somebody was referring. These kind of, because it's an established system, it is working very fine, and then helping both processors as well as farmers. We also have almost 11,000 Raitu Bharosa Kendras. Raitu Bharosa means Farmer Assurance Centers. In these centers, for agriculture and allied sectors, we have so many 10,778 staff who are qualified. So out of them, 4,000 are horticulture graduates or diploma holders. So this is a plus point for the department in promoting the area expansion of oil palm. So they are technically qualified. They can very well guide the farmers. And another thing is that in these centers, they also record the crop. We have e-cropping system where every farmer's extent is recorded and what crop is growing. So this kind of system is in place at the grassroots level. So it's easy for us to go up to village level and then deliver the things. Seed gardens, as I said, previous slide please. Seed gardens, as I said, we from department side, we will be having 3 seed gardens for the next year. And then suitable agroclimate, we have good rainfall, and then other soil and edaphic factors, other factors are suitable for growing oil palm. And under crop diversification, many farmers are interested to convert to oil palm. Like we have crops like suba wool, eucalyptus or paddy. From these areas, farmers want to convert to oil palm. So those under HRD, we are targeting such farmers and then bringing additional area under oil palm. So advantage location of Indian Institute of Oil Palm Research, that is located in West Godavari, Pedavegi. So as and when we face any problem, we immediately contact either we have this pest problem, Brugo's spiraling whitefly. What is to be done? So immediately alerts are sent to all the farmers, and then necessary care is taken so that it will not affect the yields. Often we conduct online conferences with the farmers in local languages so that they can understand the thing. And Dr. Mathur was referring to apps in the morning. So all of them put together, they are helping us in achieving these targets. Farmers, as I said, they are very progressive in the sense you show them the technology, you show them some guidance, they'll jump and pick up and immediately implement. So that is also an asset for us. And as I said, 460 metric tons of FFB per hour is the capacity which is available in the state. So that means almost 4,000 tons per day. So with these strengths, AP will definitely achieve the targets which are given to the state in the coming 5 years. So, with regard to account, SNA account, there was a slight confusion because one SNA account for one centrally sponsored scheme. So under oil seeds, an account was already opened by the agriculture department. So we had to request again the government for opening a separate account. That's why we could not open this SNA account and escrow account separately. Anyhow, shortly we will be opening them. With regard to viability gap funding also, certain clarifications were requested by the government. We have written along with all the clarifications. Shortly we will be getting the MOU approved and then sending. With this, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for beautiful presentation, sir. हमें गर्व है आंध्रा के ऊपर. हमारे देश में 3.7 लाख हेक्टेयर ऑयल पाम का एरिया है और इसमें 1.8 लाख हेक्टेयर अकेले आंध्रा कवर करता है, जो 50% एरिया है. सो आपके प्रेजेंटेशन में जो एरिया का कॉन्स्टेंट दिया गया है उसमें बेसिकली 3S कॉन्सेप्ट है. साइंटिफिक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का कंसल्टेशन, साइंटिफिक टूल्स का कंसल्टेशन और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का कंसल्टेशन. So all these 3 factors consultation after the IUPR has given their recommendation. But my kind secretary has allowed us कि आप जितना भी area देंगे, the state if feel fit the area for the oil palm cultivation, we are agreed to sanction it. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. May I request to Tamil Nadu State, please present here.
Respected Secretary to Government of India, respected Joint Secretary and other dignitaries and other colleagues from other states and officials, very good evening to all. I have the opportunity to speak about the oil palm production and area coverage in Tamil Nadu. I thank for this opportunity to the Secretary to Government of India. In respect of Tamil Nadu, even though the area is low compared to other states, but the Government of India new announcements, new policy scheme, we will surely utilize the opportunities and we will increase the area coverage and the production of oil palm. The area under Tamil Nadu, it is being stated in the Government of India paper that 95,000 hectare is potential area in Tamil Nadu, out of which there is a possibility of 32,000 hectare coverage in the up to month of March 21. As far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, last 4 or 5 years it is a very bad year for Tamil Nadu. In the year 2016-17, almost after 150 years, the drought is very severe drought. And also 2017-18, there is a flood year. And in the previous year 2019-20, there was a unseasonal rainfall. 3 cyclones have crossed the Tamil Nadu. So that caused the farmers who are already in the oil palm production, they have uprooted the trees and they have gone for some other crops. So due to this issue, we are not able to maintain the area which was more than 7,000 hectares in the 5 years before. The potential districts, we have almost 10 districts are potential districts for developing the oil palm area, especially the delta districts, the Kaveri delta districts. There is a practice of monoculture is being practiced, rice being cultivated 3 times. Sometimes they are also cultivating 2 times. The present government is under the able leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, it is being committed for crop diversification and crop rotation. So based on this also we will utilize the opportunity for the oil palm production in delta districts. There are only 3 companies are operating in Tamil Nadu. The Godrej Agrovet Limited, the Vaidehi Palm Private Limited, Mrs. Ruchi Soya Industries Limited. There is no government mill at all in Tamil Nadu. And also from the presentation given by the Government of India and the new policy announced by Government of India, we are eager to establish the oil palm gardens by the Government of Tamil Nadu. We have a Tamil Nadu Seed Development Agency is there. Through this agency, we will, in coordination with the Government of India, establish the oil palm gardens for supply to the interested farmers. Also oil palm nurseries, there is no state government oil palm nurseries or oil palm gardens. So we will establish by these 2 components under the Government of India new scheme. And also there was no separate custom grinding center for the oil palm farmers in Tamil Nadu. We have already 8,000 custom grinding centers in Tamil Nadu through various dryland development mission. But for exclusive the oil palm farmers, there was no custom grinding center. We will establish the custom grinding center in all the major 10 districts in the, by utilizing the scheme. And also the other point is that our suggestion is that the insurance coverage is not being given to the oil palm crop. So the insurance cover, why it is not being given, I am not able to understand. Even the coconut plantation is having the insurance. But since the farmers are affected by the natural calamities, either drought or flood, so they are going to alternate crops. So by considering the situation, the insurance crop can be given for the oil palm sector. And also the small farmers, small marginal farmers, they are not coming for the cultivation of oil palm because they are not able to get the income for at least 3 months, 5 years they have to wait for the income. To alleviate this, the integrated farming system component which is available in some other component can be given for the small and marginal farmers to bring under them the oil palm cultivation. And also they can be also given the farm pond component is there in NFSM, and also NADP program is available. So the big farmers who are all coming for the oil palm production, they can be given under the subsidy of farm pond establishment also. The state government is supporting the oil palm production through the market intervention system. Last 4 years, every year the government is spending on 2 crores for the, whenever the market prices falls, the FOB prices falls below the market price, the state government is supporting through the market intervention scheme. Almost 2 crores every year it is being given by the state government exclusively. With the viable gap funding, this will be useful for the state government to consider some other schemes. So So with these things, we expect that by utilizing the new scheme announced by the Government of India, we will be able to achieve another 15 to 20,000 hectares in the coming years. Because why I am telling this very limited figure, we don't do any hard nursery garden or the oil palm gardens. We'll have to establish with the new announcement by the Government of India. So in the coming years, we will integrate all the schemes and ensure that the minimum 15 to 20,000 hectares is brought under the oil palm production in the next 5 years. Thanks for giving this opportunity. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the beautiful speech, sir. You raised some points, sir, regarding the seed garden and seed nursery. Can I request, sir, that first of all, for the immediate relief, we need to focus on the seed nursery. Seed garden is the long-term strategy. It will be fruit, give the fruit after the 5 years minimum period of the time. So first of the all, we need to focus on the nursery itself. So this is the request from the Government of India side. Thank you, sir. Thanks once again. May I request to Karnataka State, sir.
Respected Secretary, sir, respected Joint Secretary, Madam, dignitaries on the dais, farmer friends, and my dear industry partners. I am Nagendra Prasad, Director, Horticulture, Karnataka, representing the state. At the outset, I profusely thank Government of India for announcing a viability gap pricing, which has generated a vigor again in the state of Karnataka for the cultivation promotion of oil palm. So we have already signed the agreement, and we have planned an advanced action plan for next 5 years. Present year plan has been approved, and we are making a very good progress with respect to current year also. Sir, in the area targeted, indicated for the state is 19,300 hectares in 5 years. But our consultation with the industry partners and the stakeholders, and also consultation with the farmers, it is giving an indication that Karnataka can do more than what is indicated. So likewise, we have planned for 25,500 hectares for 5 years, and with the announcement of this price, I am sure that will cross 30,000 hectares in the state of Karnataka, and the state government is ready to engage the farmers and the industry to take it forward, sir. Sir, with respect to convergence, we have already converged in our action plan the PMKSY, and our initial plan for convergence under PMKSY is 1,000 hectares, 5 years, and we will try to do more on that front, sir. We have 3 industry partners in the state of Karnataka. 3 of Ruchi Soya and Kalparuksha is there. And we have 28,000 tons of crushing capacity. Presently only 16,000 tons capacity is being used. So our processing units are also underutilized. So in the previous years, the area under oil palm in Karnataka was about 40,000 hectares. And because of price fluctuation, the farmers have resorted to the uprooting of our plantations, and now it has come down to 9,000 hectares in the state, out of which 4,000 hectares is the actually yielding area in our state. Karnataka state has been having a very good policy so far as oil palm is concerned. We have brought in an act in 2013 and engaged our industry partners. And also, we have been announcing MSP for oil palm since 2008 and 9. We started from 5,000 rupees up till 12,500 rupees as of now. And we have announced a subsidy on fertilizer also. And we have increased the subsidy for harvesting from tall trees also. And we have been incentivizing the transportation from the farm to the processing unit. The hallmark of Karnataka is our Taraka farm in the Kabini Reservoir area, where Indian Institute of OilPalm Research is handholding us in identifying the mother plants. We have 2 seed farms there, where our people are engaged in research, and we will be looking forward more towards the Indian Institute of OilPalm Research to handhold us in stepping up the activities in these farms. And potential of Karnataka lies in our about 150 farms owned by the state government, and we are having about 15,000 of acres of land with the state government, which we can better utilize for the development of nurseries for the oil palm. So need of the hour for us is that among the farmers, there is a need for more mechanization, and there is especially mechanization of harvesting of tall trees, and also farmers are giving an indication that they require an in-situ transportation facility to carry the bunches, an automated trolley kind of incentives, which we will be including in our plans in the coming years. And we have a registered FPOs with us exclusively for horticulture under 10,000 FPO program. We are having 26 FPOs, and Honorable Minister, Chief Minister of Karnataka has announced Amrut FPO policy for the state, where we are registering another 60 FPOs in another 1 month period of time, and we will engage all those FPOs for the promotion of oil palm cultivation. And also in Karnataka we have horticulture clinics. We have young horticultural graduates whom we will be engaging in promoting this particular scheme. And we want learnings from other states, like leading states like Telangana. So we will plan exposure visits to the state of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. And we will also give a big push for a mechanized harvesting and transportation facilities. And we have been holding our price fixation committees meetings quite regularly. And PMC is also sitting quite regularly. So the major challenge for us in Karnataka is that farmers are more and more inclined towards areca, coconut, sugarcane, paddy and banana. Especially areca, farmers are more inclined, even in non-traditional areas where we are not promoting areca, farmers are going for areca because of a very attractive price. We have to overcome this mindset with a lot of motivational programs and exposure visits. And I hope and assure, sir, we will be successful in motivating our farmers to take towards to the cultivation of oil palm in the state, because our strength lies in both the command areas as well as non-command areas. We have 5 districts in non-command areas where our rainfall pattern has been pretty good, and we are having an assured water resources. So there won't be any. So Karnataka state as such has got a very high potential, sir, and we will do everything to take forward this scheme. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Karnataka State, sir, for the nice presentation, sir. The issue you have raised during the presentation, sir, that was before the presentation we have already discussed, so I think there is no need to further explain it. So may I invite Kerala State, please. Kerala, please. So again, sorry, Orissa State is just a request to come here.
Good afternoon to everybody. Respected Secretary, Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India, respected joint secretaries, respected secretaries and chief secretaries of Telangana states, the dignitaries in the dais, and dear participants and processors by industrialists. In one word, I can say, in one sentence, the future of oil palm cultivation is definitely bright. Because day by day there is huge gap between the production of oil inside the country and the requirement by the public, by the consumers. Mostly we depend on foreign countries or abroad for our cooking oil in shape of palm oil. I have great privilege to the government of Telangana, at the same time government of India, for organizing a beautiful business summit for the promotion of oil palm cultivation in the country. We have limited to few states where oil palm is being cultivated, but there is a huge potentialities, a large scope for its cultivation. So far Odisha is concerned, though we have started oil palm cultivation during 1993-94, but it not takes momentum till 2013-14. Odisha has seen lots of ups and downs during cultivation of oil palm in the states. But after the inception of NFSM oil palm, the momentum took place. MOU is being signed by Government of Odisha with oil palm companies for taking forward the oil palm cultivation in the state. 6 companies has been signed MOU with Government of Odisha, and they worked a lot. The climatic suitability, though there is 10 agroclimatic zone in Odisha, except a few hilly taluks or blocks, most of part of the districts are suitable or feasible agroclimatically for cultivation of oil palm. But I can say one thing here, one proverb is there, where there is gold, there is no year. Where there is year, there is no gold. Because the coastal plains, where there is abundance of irrigation resources, there is lack of sites or land for its cultivation. But where there is ample opportunities or ample scope for oil palm cultivation in inland districts of Odisha, but there is no irrigation resources, but there is no irrigation sources. That's why the cultivation of oil palm is not to the desired extent. During 2006, the Chadha committee, and during 2007, Dr. Ethinam committee visited all over Odisha and submitted a report. There is feasibility of 63,000 hectares for oil palm cultivation. Up to now, we are restricted, though 23,000 hectares the density of population, but the plant density is very poor, because earlier days, 2014 before, there was no oil palm industry. For that, many people cut their oil palm trees, which was earlier planted during 93, 94, up to this 2011-12. They suffered a lot, but later on, Lakshmi Balaji Oils Private Limited established one industry first time in Odisha at Otada in Rayagada districts, for which the plantation of oil palm encouraged by the people, and it takes momentum. But we have 6 companies, they are working hard, but what we observed, mostly the company-centric oil palm cultivation is going on in Odisha. They are supplying the seedlings, and unfortunately, this year and last year, there is no progress due to shortage of this oil palm seedlings, because we mostly depend on outside the country. So the seed garden is important, and parallelly we have to develop our nursery setup, and at the same time also we thought of the seed garden. This should run parallelly. And due to fragmented of land holdings, which inhibits the oil palm cultivation, and it is in wasteland particularly, no farmer is coming forward for oil palm cultivation in his virgin lands. So mostly it is being cultivated in wastelands. So there is every requirement of irrigation infrastructures with electrifications, then only its future in Odisha will flourish. And another thing is, there is the FAB declaration of FAB price is highly volatile. Depending on the Kandla port price, the CPO price is being calculated, and on that basis, the NOT price and CPO price taken together, the FAB price is forecasted. But we are fortunate enough, the government of India launched a very good initiative for declaration of viable price. Earlier, before this Samiti, we had a mistaken that if VP will be declared, then the farmers will not be benefited. And still I am in doubt, the authority may clarify this, whether the state government is able to declare the FAB price as earlier it is declared, or since inception of the VP, only on the basis of a VP, the FAB price is to be declared. Then BGP comes. Definitely it is a support price, and when it goes below, then the BGP comes. It is clear cut. The declaration of a VP is to be required. But the price which is been declared already by the Telangana, we are basically depends on the Andhra Pradesh, this cooperatives oil palm growers federation, and from them we are taking the CPO price, and basing on their CPO price we are calculating this state government price. So we are fully dependent. Our government has also taken a concrete decision that on the basis of the CPO price of Andhra Pradesh cooperative oil palm growers federations, it will be declared. And the second thing is the establishment of this processing. No, the processors are coming forward, no companies are coming forward because they are not getting incentives for establishment of this oil palm industry other than that of northeastern states. So they are demanding the government or the government of India should give incentivization for the establishment of this oil palm industry. In public sector, by the government of Odisha, it is very difficult because we are observing that in public sector, wherever the companies, wherever the society is functioning, this is within a few years, it is being defunct. So that should be thought of. And oil palm is the only oil yielding crop which gives a regular income, because 8 to 10 bunches or 8 to 10 female bunches comes in a year. So every 1.5 months, in every 1.5 months, we are getting a bunch from a tree, and we have 143 or 145 number of trees. If one bunch on an average weight of 15 to 20 kg, then it comes nearly 3 ton per year. Then you can calculate now the per metric ton capacity, how much it will comes. So definitely the future is bright. We have to, because in earlier days, we are only focusing on the oil seed crops. We have not focused systematically with the oil palm, so we have little bit delayed, and when our requirement and our foreign exchange, definitely it is increasing day by day from 60,000 crores to 75,000 crores, definitely we have a look on it, and definitely we must have to progress in a right direction. And though it is not late, the government of India has taken a right and concrete decisions for its promotion. So, next. These are the challenges we have already discussed. And intercropping, because it has a long gestation periods, like 4 years, so definitely the farmers are to be motivated for the intercroppings. Though the intercropping, there is a component, there is an assistance. So that assistance is to be, though it has been augmented, but in future, again, this calculation is to be taken, because if we will go for vegetables, we will go for high value crops, there is more requirement of funds. So definitely we will welcome the oil palm cultivation in coming days, and to reduce the exchequers which are flowing to foreign countries. With these few words, I once again thanks to all, thanks to Government of Telangana, Government of India for arranging a beautiful this summit. Once again I thank all of you. नमस्कार।
Thank you, Odisha State. Fortunately, we have the opportunity to convince you about the viability gap payment. Now, I hope you understand the concept I given to you. So now, Chhattisgarh State, please.
भारत शासन के कृषि सचिव महोदय, ज्वाइंट सेक्रेटरी MNOP और सभी स्टेट से पधारे हुए महानुभाव और किसान और प्रोड्यूसर, छत्तीसगढ़ की ओर से नमस्कार। छत्तीसगढ़ अभी हम लोग ऑयल पाम पे नए हैं। मैं अभी लगभग हमारे पास अभी हम लोग 2012-13 से ऑयल पाम स्टार्ट किए हैं और लगभग 7,000 हेक्टेयर में हम लोगों का प्लांटेशन हुआ है। इस समिट में आने से हमें ये जानने और समझने में सुविधा हो रहा है कि हम छत्तीसगढ़ में इसको काफ़ी बड़े मात्रा में कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि छत्तीसगढ़ मिडिल में हमारे है, हमारे यहाँ से कनेक्टिविटी बहुत अच्छी है और छत्तीसगढ़ में हार्टिकल्चर के लिए बहुत प्रॉस्पेक्टस है। इन हार्टिकल्चर छत्तीसगढ़ रैंक इन एरिया 12 नंबर एंड प्रोडक्शन 13 नंबर। हम वेजिटेबल्स एंड फ्रूट्स में बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं और हमारा जो अभी गवर्नमेंट की जो है क्रॉप डाइवर्सिफिकेशन की ओर ज़्यादा फोकस किया गया है। तो ऐसे समय में हमको ये जो अपॉर्चुनिटी मिला है ऑयल पाम का, जो समिट में आके हमको समझने में सुविधा हुआ है कि हम इसको काफ़ी अच्छे मात्रा में कर सकते हैं। शुरू में जैसे उड़ीसा स्टेट बता रही थी कि हमको बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम गए, वैसी प्रॉब्लम हमें भी गए, क्योंकि हमारे पास अभी तक ना ही एक फैक्ट्री है, एक सीडलिंग की नर्सरी है हमारी प्राइवेट, वो भी, तो हमको प्लांटिंग मटेरियल में भी काफ़ी दिक्कतें जा रही थी। किंतु जब हमारे कंपनी के द्वारा FFB क्रय करने लग गए तो किसानों को ये विश्वास हुआ कि नहीं, हमको अन्य फसलों की अपेक्षा, जैसे छत्तीसगढ़ आपको मालूम ही होगा कि ये राइस बॉल कहा जाता है, तो राइस में जितना उनको आमदनी नहीं हो रहा है उससे ज़्यादा आमदनी उसको अब ऑयल पाम से होने लग रहा है। तो किसान इस ओर अब आकृष्ट हो रहे हैं। पहले हम लोगों को, किसानों को समझाने में काफ़ी दिक्कतें जाती थी, लेकिन अब किसान स्वयं आके हमसे डिमांड कर रहा है कि सर हम ऑयल पाम लगाना चाह रहे हैं। मैं बता देना चाहता हूं कि हमारे छत्तीसगढ़ में 3 एग्रो क्लाइमेटिक जोन है। नार्दर्न प्लेन जोन है जिसमें अंबिकापुर, कोरिया, जसपुर डिस्ट्रिक्ट आता है। छत्तीसगढ़ प्लेन है जिसमें बिलासपुर, रायपुर, मुंगेली, धमतरी, दुर्ग, महासमुंद, पेंड्रा, रायगढ़ आते हैं। और बस्तर जो कि तेलंगाना और AP से लगा हुआ है, बीजापुर, जगदलपुर, कोंटा, सुकमा, ये सब हैं। और जो हमने पाया कि हमारे यहाँ का जो टेम्परेचर और रेनफॉल ऑयल पाम के लिए सुटेबिलिटी है, जो रिकमेंड किया गया है कि 22 to 24 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड एंड 23 to 33 होना चाहिए, जबकि हमारे यहाँ छत्तीसगढ़ का एवरेज 13 से 28 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड, जो कि जगदलपुर और कांकेर एरिया में पाया जाता है। इस एरिया में रेनफॉल भी हमारा 1200 से 1750 mm है, जो कि सफिशिएंट है। सॉइल हमारी वेल ड्रेन सॉइल है, पूरी लेटराइट सॉइल है। pH 6.8 चाहिए, जो 6.8 हमारे यहाँ का pH एवरेज है। और पानी की हमारे यहाँ कमी नहीं है। अभी हमारी छत्तीसगढ़ की सरकार ने जितने भी जो हमारे नाले हैं पेरिनियल, उस सब को स्टाफ डैम के माध्यम से रोक कर काफ़ी पानी हमारा जनरेट हो रहा है, तो हम वैसे एरिया को टारगेटेड कर रहे हैं जहाँ की पानी की सूटेबिलिटी हो। तो अभी तक हम लोगों ने 3,718 किसानों को बेनिफिट किया है 7,194 हेक्टेयर में, और हमारा FFB आना चालू हो गया है। अभी तक 370 मीट्रिक टन FFB ले लिए हैं, जिससे कारण से अब किसानों में काफ़ी जागरूकता आ रही है। वर्तमान में हमारे यहाँ 5 कंपनियां काम कर रही है, 3F OilPalm, रुचि सोया, गोदरेज, अम्मा और शिवासिस। हमें जो अभी GOI से इस साल हमें 5 साल की जो रोड मैप मिला है, जिसको हमें तैयारी करना था, जिसमें हमें 15 डिस्ट्रिक्ट को, वैसे हमारे यहाँ पे 28 डिस्ट्रिक्ट है, जिसमें से 19 डिस्ट्रिक्ट में हम पहले इसको क्रियान्वित कर रहे थे। फिर GOI से हमें इस साल जो 5 साल के लिए 15 डिस्ट्रिक्ट के लिए ये मार्क हुआ टारगेट का, जिसको हम केवल 9 में ही करना चाह रहे हैं। 5 में भी करेंगे, लेकिन अभी हम उसको जो हमारे बेस्ट पोटेंशियल डिस्ट्रिक्ट है उसके हिसाब से हम लोगों ने इसमें किया है। 2025-26 तक हमको 16,400 हेक्टेयर का लक्ष्य है। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा GOI से कि हमें, अभी तो ठीक है हमारा ये लक्ष्य, लेकिन जैसे हमको और ज़्यादा डिमांड की आवश्यकता होगी हम रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे। और निवेदन हमारा यही है कि कंपनियां जो हमारे यहाँ हैं वो थोड़े से प्लांटिंग मटेरियल समय पे दे नहीं पाती हैं, इस ओर भी कंपनियों को ध्यान आकृष्ट करना पड़ेगा। और बाकी जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं सभी स्टेट ने बता दिया है, सेम प्रॉब्लम छत्तीसगढ़ में भी है, जैसे खास करके जो हर जगह मांग हो रही है ड्रिप इरिगेशन के लिए, तो ड्रिप इरिगेशन में पैसा ज़्यादा होना चाहिए। और बोरवेल जो है इसमें फैसिलिटी है, उसको 2 हेक्टेयर में 1 बोरवेल देने का प्रावधान करना चाहिए। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू। छत्तीसगढ़ स्टेट, छत्तीसगढ़ स्टेट राइस बॉल ऑफ इंडिया के लिए जाना जाता है। हमारा प्रयास है कि जो सीरियल्स है वो हमारा बफर स्टॉक बहुत ज़्यादा है, और हम डाइवर्सिफिकेशन का प्रोग्राम लेकर के भारत सरकार आगे आई हुई है। तेल की कमी है और तेल का लक्ष्य पूरा करना है। तो मैं छत्तीसगढ़ स्टेट से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि जो उन्होंने एनुअल एक्शन प्लान जो प्रपोज किया है और 25-26 में जो एरिया प्रपोज किया है, वो बेटर होगा कि उसको 22-23 में प्रपोज करे और आज से प्लानिंग करें कि वो नर्सरी उनके लिए उपलब्ध हो जाएगा। आपने बहुत बड़ा एरिया नहीं चूज किया है, केवल 1600 हेक्टेयर को आपने इंकित किया है, तो 16,000, तो उसके लिए नर्सरी आप उपलब्ध, साल भर का समय आपके पास है। आशा करते हैं कि आप इस पर कार्यान्वयन में रुचि लेंगे। हम लोग आज ये समिट जो है सो तेलंगाना स्टेट के हैदराबाद में कर रहे हैं। अब हैदराबाद स्टेट का टर्म आया है। सबसे पहले तो मैं धन्यवाद देता हूं APC साहब का कि उन्होंने इतनी अच्छी व्यवस्था की है इस प्रोग्राम को आयोजित करने के लिए, और एक बार पुनः धन्यवाद देते हुए उन्हें आमंत्रित करता हूं। तेलंगाना प्लीज।
Respected Secretary Sir, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India, Sri Nagareddy Sir, respected Joint Secretary Ma'am, my colleagues in my department, Mr. Venkatam Reddy, Mr. Hanmant, and all the dignitaries who are present here on and off the dais. We have had a very long day, so I will not take much time, and most of the points have either been covered or have been answered. So I will quickly run through this. The only significant point to note is that in the first slide is that our OER is among the highest in the country. and we hope to keep it at this level if we are able to maintain this kind of good plantations as we go along. As already mentioned during the day, we have planned for about 20 lakh acres. Next slide, please. We have planned for about 20 lakh acres. Our cabinet has approved over the next 3 years, which is roughly about 38 times the current plantation that we have. And the idea is basically to promote oil palm as a important crop diversification strategy for the state of Telangana. We have already allotted, next slide please, we have already allotted to 11 companies, and we have tried to keep them contiguous zones so that the entire potential area of the state is covered. And these companies we have been working with them to reach the ambitious targets that we have set for ourselves. We have planned 5 lakh acres next year, 10 lakh acres the year after that, and so the basic idea is that we want to ramp up as much as possible over the next 3 years and use this facility which Government of India has given us to ensure that Telangana is on this path of promoting oil palm. We have a very thin and lean structure managing the program as of now. Next slide please. We have a high-level steering committee headed by the Chief Secretary, and we have a small technical training unit and a small project management unit. We will ramp up these numbers in these groups as we go along. We have already placed orders, indents for about 5 lakh acres. We have received enough seed for about 82,000 acres as of now, but we are monitoring the incoming seed on a weekly basis. We have had some defaults over the last 2 weeks because of the earthquake in Indonesia, but we are in touch with that, and we hope to have the seed in our gardens as per the schedule that we have planned. Yeah, so these are the few points which I wanted to raise, which have already been addressed in the morning or have been answered during the day. But I think there is still a case for integrating the drip component portion with the oil palm mission portion. By keeping it as 2 separate units, I am afraid as we go along, there will be a lot of dissonance between the two, and we may end up in a situation where we will not be able to handle it. The Secretary Sir has been kind enough to say that many of these issues are being addressed. So we will do our best to get them, we'll send the required data. The other thing, sir, is really I think we need to take forward this empanelment of suppliers across the country. What we have noticed is our 11 companies are picking up stocks only from 4 or 5 suppliers. There are other suppliers available in those countries, but we don't have the knowledge base to assess their capacity and the genetic purity of the material that they are giving us. So I think that is an area where we'll require technical support from Government of India. Now regarding the VGF, I think a lot has been said. As requested by Secretary, we will be preparing a small note on this to understand what is the difference that is happening to the current farmers and to the future farmers, and how the industry can be encouraged to look at VGF as a building a good ecosystem for the farmers and for the industry. And the last point I wanted to raise, and which I was expecting the industry to raise, was basically whether we could consider some kind of a release to the nurseries during that period of 12 months when they have to manage the nursery, whether after 6 months on the basis of seeds available and the sprouts available in their nursery, whether part of the payment can be released in advance so that the upfront capital cost which the companies have to incur for the seed, because we are promoting at large number, whether that can be done in the, at least in the first 2-3 years, so that the oil processing industry can get some benefit. I think I will stop here. We have to still give time to the most important stakeholder in this entire, that is the farmer. So I thank Government of India, Secretary Sir, and all the others who have made it possible to hold this summit here today. And we hope to ensure that Telangana is a trendsetter in this mission. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very excellent presentation, sir. And my kind secretary has already given some oral instructions. I should not quote here, but my secretary is so kind. So we received the proposal from the Karnataka State Honorable Agriculture Minister sent for the 12 lakh hectare. For next 5 years, you have given the target for the 20 lakh hectare. So we are looking this thing, and other issues also, restriction for the area for the drip irrigation and cost norm of the drip irrigation. They are the 3-4 factors the Honorable Agriculture Minister of a state has raised. So that that is under consideration before my kind secretary. Before we request to Honorable Secretary, Government of India, can I request to invite 2 farmers to just give place their issues or views regarding the oil palm cultivation. So मैं फार्मर से ये रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि वो 5 मिनट के अंदर अपनी बातों को रखेंगे, क्योंकि हम लोग काफी विलंब चल रहे हैं. तो अलापति रामचंद्रा जी फार्मर, प्लीज आइए.
Pranam to all the delegates on the dais and the farmers and the officers in the meeting hall. My name is Alapat Ramchandra Prasad from Telangana State, Bhadradri Kottagudem district, and I am representing as Telangana Oil Palm Growers Association President. We are very thankful to the central government for coming with the IOPR mission. We are very thankful to that, madam. And as a Telangana oil palm grower, I am feeling very proud with the blessings of our CM K. Chandrasekhar Rao Garu, who is helping with Raitu Bandhu, 24 hours current, and many more. We planted in Telangana in the year 1993 and 94 with the advice of a then minister, Mr. Tummal Nageswara Garu. From there, we came very forward in growing oil palm with the help of our horticulture department staff and our oil fed staff. I am proud to say that in India, our oil fed is standing first in giving percentage to our farmers. We are getting the best percentage. In this year, we got 19.22 that no one got in India. So that we are getting the maximum rate, which helps us very much, and we are very happy with that. But madam, we are also very happy with your 14.3%, but our request is we need minimum 15,000 rupees assurance price, that which helps us. In your meaning or in your thoughts, you are thinking that you have given a beautiful price, that is 14.3, it's good, but we need 15,000 rupees minimum support price for our farmers. It's our request and demand. So, and And thanks to all the farmers and the delegates for giving me this opportunity. Thanks very much.
थैंक यू अल्लापति जी। लंच आवर में मुझे मौका मिला था आपको ब्रीफ करने का। इससे पहले भी गुवाहाटी में और दूसरे जगहों पर आपसे इंटरेक्शन करने का मौका मिला था। उस दौरान आप गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के जो वायबिलिटी गैप कॉन्सेप्ट है उससे सहमत नहीं थे। अभी लंच आवर में मैंने आपको थोड़ा सा अपना समय स्पेयर किया था आपके लिए और आपको कन्विंस किया था। होपफुली आप इस बात से सहमत होंगे, जो प्राइस है वो प्रोटेक्शन प्राइस है। इट इज नॉट प्राइस ऑफ द FFB. When the price is going up, the government of India will support only the mechanism where the farmer will not face the losses, any kind of the losses. So the mechanism is to protect the farmer's interest, not the touch the higher or open sky. So thank you very much. Hope you understand my concept. इस सभा का कंक्लूड करने के लिए से पहले एक नागा रेड्डी साहब का मैं परिचय करना चाहता हूं फार्मर के रूप में। वो एक बहुत बड़े किसान हैं जो 65,000 और काफी बड़े एरिया में जो है सो पाम ऑयल खेती को प्रमोट किए हैं। तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि नागा रेड्डी साहब प्लीज। पाम ऑयल से रिलेटेड जो तजुर्बा है सर का, इससे हम लोग लाभ लेंगे और इससे लाभान्वित होंगे। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Shri Sanjay Agarwal ji, Secretary Government of India, dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, farmers. There was a little misrepresentation stating that I am a farmer, of course, but I am not an oil palm farmer. But I have been invited to talk here, not as a farmer, but as a person who started the oil palm in the United Andhra Pradesh state. During the year 1990-91, when government of India as it is was facing severe economic squeeze, we had to airlift gold from this country to London because nobody was willing to believe us to get a small little credit for a country. That day we were importing, our import cost of edible oils was significant. 4,000 crores. 4,000 crores that time was very big money, and the government of India at that time decided that we should become self-reliant in edible oils. And they wanted to take up 85,000 hectares under oil palm. They devised a scheme and called all these potential states like this. And I remember all these states who were present, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, United Andhra Pradesh, Orissa. I think these were the states which were invited and were asked to take up this particular challenge of planting 85,000 hectares. And I am not telling any falsehood, but most of the states were not willing to. They were telling various excuses. Nobody was able to come forward with any sizable area. Then I said, sir, from United Andhra Pradesh that time, I will take up the entire 85,000 hectares. And secretary was very much convinced. But he said, okay, you are, perhaps, I was just a first state level posting for me. I was Director of Horticulture of Andhra Pradesh State. And he was very happy, but then perhaps he had some doubts. Or maybe he wanted to be very equitous for the entire community of states that time. He said, okay, you are telling that, but we will give you 65,000 hectares. You take up 65,000 hectares, and the remaining 20,000 hectares was distributed amongst all the other states. That's how we started in the United Andhra Pradesh. With 65,000 hectares, we could complete in about 1.5 years. We had taken a plantation. We brought the act which is now the basic act on which the entire oil palm industry runs, Act of 1993. And also we have standardized the procurement mechanism. Went round, we found only because Malaysia and Indonesia were not allowing us to get into their country even, leave alone farms, because they were very much concerned that if India takes up oil palm plantations and their industry will be in dire straits. So they were not even giving us visas to visit those two countries, and we found only ASD Costa Rica company in Costa Rica and Ivory Coast, another country in Africa, who were willing to give us the planting materials, and finally we sourced the planting materials from there. That time it was about $0.5 per one seed sprout, and plant quarantine, so many things. But anyway, things were all done. I am very happy that 65,000 hectares in United Andhra Pradesh is now become close to 2.5 lakh hectares, and entire country, of course, the United Andhra Pradesh still leads, and I am very sure United Andhra Pradesh will continue to lead because the kind of advantage we have got, initial mover advantage. But in any case, this is a marvelous scheme, what is being now formulated. Everything is taken care of, right from the plantation up till 1937. I could not believe Ms. Sanjay Agarwal, when I went and asked him, is it true whether this can be sustained up till 1937? I don't think there is any scheme today or in the past which projected, a kind of, plan up till 1937. Today we are in 21, about 17 years ahead. There was never a scheme like this. I think farmers can be rest assured, they can definitely go ahead with this kind of a central sector scheme. After all, it's the central government which is responsible for this. So they are behind us. So definitely this scheme should be able to take us close to our potential of 28 lakh hectares in the country. By that we will be able to produce about 10 million tons to 12 million tons. So I thank Ms. Sanjay Agarwal, thank the officials of Government of India, and then congratulate all the farmers and all the stakeholders, and I wish you all the best. We started with a meager 85,000 hectares, and today we are about 4 lakh hectares. Definitely we will reach 28 lakh hectares in times to come and make India self-reliant in oil seeds. Thank you very much.